Hello world, I'm What If Study, and today we are doing What If Deku was connected with Toga Part 3. So we'll be starting off where we left off last time. Deku... No, we won't be. Because I've got an idea of how we can connect the story a little bit. So basically, before he met Toga, when he was training in the gym for his starting year since he was like almost 10, he trained with Ojiro. Day and night, he and Ojiro went at it, just constantly, just almost killing each other sometimes, fighting, because Deku was constantly having to fend for himself on the streets, trying to find Toga. Ojiro himself had this personal strive to be the best, hero that can be, as it is present in the anime. Deku does find him very interesting and finds him almost to be a brother by the time he turns around 15, where we are currently in the story. But back then, they were only training partners, companions. Ojiro actually would help him in the field. Look out for Toga, you know? It told them if he saw anybody who he felt she would look like, which was completely wrong, by the way. Ojiro, however, never saw her, but had hope that Deku would, and supported Deku over the years. Around this time, he met, a few years later, after he had met Toga, Aizawa had actually checked in, and then Aizawa also brought Uraraka with him, who Uraraka was also present. Around that time also, there caused a quirk sort of explosion, where Ojiro got a second quirk, called Zenkai Boost. It's basically just Zenkais from Dragon Ball, where basically if he almost dies, he gains a massive strength boost. He comes back much more powerful, and that helps him a shit ton, making him much more stronger. But he doesn't love his quirk. He hates his quirk, actually. But he has zero clue how it happened, and it seems that Ochako also gains a second quirk, which is actually an improvement of her old one, which is that she can't get sick anymore. She has sick immunity. All these quirks seem to work in tandem with their old ones, like they're almost improving them. They're just simply, she has no limit on hers now. She can lift the world if she wanted to, but the world is already zero gravity in space. She can make whole comets zero gravity, right? She can make anything happen now. It's crazy to her. It was after she met Deku, too. So, Deku and Ochako, yeah, they go out on missions all the time together when they were around, 13, when he had met Aizawa. Aizawa, of course, everything goes the same as it did before, as I said. However, Toga had seen Ochako watching Deku as he entered her room, because Ochako becomes much better at stealth too, and follows Deku sometimes when he's out on outings so that he doesn't get hurt. However, when she sees him with Toga, she realizes that she should probably back off. However, Toga is much more deadly than she thinks. She underestimated Toga. Toga is knowing. She knows almost everything that happens to Deku. As such, she can feel when she's touching him, when Ochako's touching him, even when she's just patting him on the back for a good job. She's known this for a while. It caused doubts in her minds. Although she knows she never kissed him, after all, she would feel it. She knows that something's going on, at least. Now, when Deku can feel that there's a knife in Toga's hand, even if it's only for a minute, he knows that something's happening. Maybe she's just cutting something. Maybe she's just doing something. But it causes doubts in his mind, too. They both worry for each other day and night, causing each other also to feel that worry, which amplifies it even more. Causing this sort of, worry-wart couple, always worrying about each other. Deku responds to it in becoming more of a workaholic, and her becoming more of a, worry for her little siblings. And Deku at once he turns 15 back in the original time, after he leaves her sort of, her house, he comes up to Uchako and tells her that, we're going to the UA. And she's like, I thought you said that you didn't want to do that. He's like, I'm going to do it anyways. Just ignore what I said before. So basically, Ochako's like, fine, I'm coming with then. He's like, that's fine with me, as long as, you pull your own weight. She's like, oh, trust me, I can more than pull my own weight. So she's still daintily like that. She's still like Dixie sort of way, but I can't do that voice. I can't do the voice. Sorry. So basically, Deku goes to the new UA intern things and goes into the test. Right? They start off with the whole test thing, and Bakugo, of course, makes as much loudness as he can before. However, Deku shuts him up real fucking quick by just saying that, if you want to be loud, do it in your own time, please. Just not out here, Bakugo. God damn it. And Deku's like, Bakugo's like, fucking whatever, because Bakugo has become sort of just okay with Deku. Like, he's not infuriated by looking at him. He's infuriated by him talking. Like, you see, like the evolution of Bakugo. You see. So basically, Bakugo, they don't fight. That means Ida doesn't fight with Bakugo, which means that they don't fight in the in the room. So it's fine. Everything's good. Everything's just okay now. And then, President Mike continues his speech and then says go. So everybody, dashes out to the robots. However, Deku already knows he's just going to get passed because of Aizawa. However, he's no slacker. Trust me, he wants to see his power more than anybody. So he decides to go 100% more of his sort of gains from just all of his training. He has been training by punching wood, which increased his sort of his bone density. He's trained his kicks by also kicking that, which also increases bone density. You see what I mean. He has been increasing his body over the years exponentially, causing him to be almost superhuman-like. So when he dashes straight at the robots and slices one in half to see its interior, it only takes him a few seconds to look at the interior until it falls to the ground. He's like, oh, so the hearts are there. So he basically just he starts darting around, just punching straight through ones, grabbing its heart out and crushing it in his hand. He can see Ojiro smack one into a line of 10 and absolutely decimate all of them. So he's like, oh, Ojiro's been making use of his second quirk, eh? And he the tail grows into this pillar and then smashes down on 10. It's awesome. And Deku's like, wow, he really did make use of it. Jesus. So then he takes he still has his leather cloak on, and mask, which make him look almost like the vigilante dude. And they're like, is that the legendary vigilante? No. He colored it red. So so it's completely different. Totally different stuff, okay? And his mask blue. So it's he's unrecognizable, basically. Green hair, who cares? He dyes his hair black. No. Green. He dyes his hair green. He dyes his hair green to pretend he didn't have green hair before, I guess. So, everybody's like, no, that's not him. He has the same technique, same everything, but it's not him. His hair is green, so it's not possible. So basically, Deku continues on his sort of rampaging spree, ripping off freaking robots' arms and shoving it down into their core, which punches them, and then it releases a payload into itself with missiles and shit. He has some gory ass kills. He takes one of their heads and then balls it up with his hand, we're using all of his power. That's the most that he can do is bend metal. That's the best thing that he can do right now. That takes everything. That hurts his hands and shit. And then he chucks it as hard as he can and spears it straight through another one. And then that one's core explodes and combusts into 10 others. It's really cool. Anyways, after all the fighting and shit, you don't even want to hear any of the fighting anymore. So basically, Ochako still is in danger, and then she just lifts all the rubble up, and Deku dashes over, picks her up like, how you pick up people, like princess pick up. Like he has both arms under her, and like her face is next to his, right? And basically, he dashes as fast as he can away from the gigantic robot. However, it's chasing them and releasing payloads of missiles at them. Ochaka says, "Give me 10 seconds and I can get the rubble above his head." And he continues to dash, dodging all around until he gets smacked as hard as he can. But he carries Ochako on top of his arm, risking his whole body. As his leg was basically obliterated with, bruises, he still had to keep on running. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And finally, she releases all of the rocks. Right as the thing's arm was just about to fall on top of them, the rocks bash straight onto its whole body, combusting it and blowing it up. It's completely crushed, impressing most people. However, it was there's still a second one, which was right above them. And then Ojiro dashes straight in front of him, and his tail whips across its hand that is right in front of him, about to crush them. Ojiro tail whips it right back at it, which then it punches itself. Ojiro then picks up Uraraka for Deku and says, "You go, I'll defeat it and get Ochako back." And then President Mike's like, "That's it." As the giant just got right back up. They're like, "Thank fucking God." Ojiro's like, "I could have done more. God damn it." He's like, No, you couldn't have." He's like, "Yeah, you're right. Deku's like, "I am always right. Come on, guy." So yeah, no, that's pretty cool. He obviously got in. However, Toga was watching, because why wouldn't she miss her love on the TV? Because they were recording it. And seeing Deku kind of carry Ochako was kind of weird for her, because she's kind of happy for him. Like she's fine with it. Like she's cool. However, she's just noticed that over the years, he's been really with her this whole time. Like they've been really close. And it causes some doubts in her minds. I know I've said that a shit ton now, but it does. It do. And cements her suspicions a little bit more. So basically, after that, Deku gets to go into, Class 1A and greets Aizawa immediately. As Aizawa's on the floor, he picks himself right back up to the podium and says, "Thank you for waking me up, Deku. Is the rest of the classroom here?" He's like, "Nah, it's like 2 a.m. He's like, why did you bastard?" And Deku's like, "You'll link me later." And then like sits back down. And he's like, "I should have freaking taught you more lessons. Who was the girl that you wanted me to accept to UA again?" "It's nothing. She needs to work on herself. Maybe later." And Aizawa's like, "Fine, maybe later then." Whatever, kid. You always confuse me. And then everybody bursts into the freaking classroom right as they're about to say something. And basically Bakugo's like, "Who's this Toga chick you've been talking about? I heard you mumbling. Don't pretend." As he puts his hands on Deku's desk and then stares him straight into the eyes, and Deku's like, "Why would I have to tell you?" He's like, "Well, because I'm asking politely," as flames start to burst up into his hand. Deku's like, "It doesn't really sound polite to me now, idiot." "Who'd you call an idiot?" And then freaking Aizawa stops Bakugo's quirk before he blows up Deku's desk. However, Deku already had a knife to his throat. So, who do you really want to stop at this point? The guy with no quirk or the guy with a quirk? So, Aizawa stops Bakugo from blowing up Deku's desk, and thus, taps on his shoulder and says, "Bakugo, please go sit down before you get your ass wrecked." Idiot. So, basically, yeah. I hate Bakugo. Sorry, guys. Anyways, Bakugo sits down at his desk, grumbling and wanting to blow up the whole entire place, like threatening to do shit like that. You know him. And then Aizawa goes on to mention about the physical exam and shit and how everybody will have to do it. It's whatever. Deku aces almost every single one except the ball throw, which he does not actually throw it that far. He gets one of the weakest scores just because it's like a basic shit. Ojiro's tail whip, though, smashes it even farther than Bakugo, which starts a conflict between Ojiro and Bakugo. Ojiro and Bakugo almost start going at it, and then Aizawa tries to stop Bakugo again, and then Bakugo gets up in front of like Aizawa, and Aizawa's like, "You dare disrespect me?" And then a fucking fight almost starts between Aizawa and Bakugo because Bakugo's such a little shit. Deku gets in front of Bakugo and says, "You don't want this, okay, man? You don't want none of this. This man is the guy that taught me. If you can't beat me, you can't beat him." Bakugo's like, "Even stronger?" "Yeah, even stronger." Bakugo's like, "Shit." Inside, he doesn't say that. It's Bakugo, guys. It's fucking Bakugo. He's not gonna show any weakness at all, ever. After that, Bakugo goes to his corner, his sulking corner. Deku goes back to his, and then we just shift over to the next week of Heroes versus Villains, which is Deku with Ochako, and some secret visitors that are watching. That includes Toga, who wants to, see how well her boo does. God, I hate this what if. Oh, I love what ifs. Okay, sorry. Enough of me sulking. It's not unprofessional. Okay. Toga basically is there now, watching all of them. She's clearly really tired and really is out of it by this point, and she has some of her of her clothes back on, like most of her clothes back on. Her normal clothes, at least, that, hopefully to attract Deku back. However, since she's just watching and disguised as freaking the Ice and Fire dude, because somehow she got his blood, I think, and she's just watching, she just kind of shifts around the whole place, watching and hoping that Deku's fine. Deku and Ochako versus Ida and Bakugo. So Bakugo, of course, immediately goes straight after Deku. Deku had told Ochako that this would happen. However, Deku was like, "Yeah, but stick around at least a little bit." Bakugo immediately dashes straight at Deku. He says, "What, are you gonna fight me? Not that ditzy old hag fucking Ochako." He's like, you know she's like our same age, right?" He's like, "Yeah, whatever. She doesn't do shit anyways." Just giving more reasons for this whole entire part to happen. Basically, Deku vaults Bakugo over his head and throws him into the wall. Bakugo immediately blows up the wall and then blows up the wall behind the freaking floor below him, collapsing the floor and then falling down to the lower floors. Deku jumps up to the ceiling and then jumps down, propelling himself as fast as he can towards Bakugo. However, Bakugo already readied up a explosion straight towards his face. Deku had grabbed some of the metal that was around the building, however, in his arms, and puts them in front of him, blocking the explosion and allowing him to just vault straight into Bakugo. Just like plowing through Bakugo, sending him flying into the next wall. As Deku charges straight at him, Bakugo throws a punch, which Deku dodges, and it hits with an explosion, of course, that hits the pillar behind him, exploding the pillar. And then Deku like flicks him 2 times, causing him to just get even madder, which causes him to blow up even more of the building around him, trying to get Deku. However, Deku, of course, is dodging out of the way, but that harms his left arm, causing some burns, like 4th degree burns, which are horrible. But Deku again, with the metal shit, it only causes some pain. He has gotten a lot of, pain over the years of all that shit. And Toga feels this and gets so worried. She, almost screams. However, she cannot stop. She can't, be, fucking... She can't let everybody know her identity, basically. So, basically, she holds it in and, she just watches on and, really worried, Deku... As she can barely see anything after all the cameras were almost destroyed by Bakugo. One of them is still taking pictures of the fight, however. Pictures only. So she's super worried about that. And Deku and Bakugo's battle continues to rage on. Uraraka makes her way up to Ida, and then Ida immediately reciprocal bursts straight at her, acting as usual as villain-like as he can. "You will not get past me, hero," as he immediately dashes straight at her, and then she dodges under that, of course. She, puts her hand on his back, which, she tries to put her hand on his back, at least. However, he dodges around her, grabbing onto her arm and throwing her into a pillar right next to her, which immediately makes her almost cough up blood because that he had thrown her really hard, and he's like, "Oh shit, are you okay?" She's like, "Rule number 3, don't take pity." And she immediately she was basically acting. She does the splits and touches him right on his chest, which make him start to float. He's like, "Oh god damn it!" as he immediately jumps off of one of the pillars straight to the bomb. He's like, "As long as I stay here, you will never touch it. Even if I'm floated. You must be getting sick around now, aren't you?" And she's like, "Nope." He's like, "I thought that was your drawback." She's like, "Clearly you haven't been caught up on the non-canon." As he's like, "What?" And Deku, meanwhile, is down at the lower buildings and is just causing general mayhem, trying to dodge around Bakugo. As Bakugo gets more fired up and more, angry, he starts to, overpower Deku. Deku is unable to take care of Bakugo at this point, as Bakugo is just exploding everything everywhere, and finally gets enough of this, as Deku has been using metal shards to block every single thing. He just says, "Fuck this," as he immediately releases a howitzer straight at Deku, as he had leg sweep Deku and then put him on the ground and then howitzered right at his face. All Might says, "No, you idiot, that might kill him," as Toga's like, "God damn it," as she almost dashes out there herself to try to protect Deku. Basically, she dashes straight in there, collapsing right onto Bakugo. And then almost stabs Bakugo, as she's currently, cloaked as the Invisible Girl. She walks up she runs straight into the building, basically running up right behind Bakugo. And Deku can actually sense her there. He looks up to her and shakes his head, as she actually sees him now, as the dust clears before she stabs Bakugo. Deku looks up to her, and she can see him, and he shakes his head no, as he had protected himself with a rock that had fell from Ochako's release, and one of the rocks had hit the rocket, and the rocket fell right next to Uraraka, and she touched it, and they win. Basically, Toga falls to her knees, crying that she almost murdered this kid. She feels so bad, and Deku comes over and hugs her and says that it's fine. However, he has 4-degree burns on his left arm, and then he has he has just general explosion blight all over him, because the explosion still hit him. However, it was just behind a rock. Basically, all of his legs are charred and his left arm is charred too. But he hugs Uraraka as hard as he can. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys in the next video. I hope I'll see you sometime, somewhere. Goodbye.